Okay, Dallas, let's go. What's up, everybody? I hope everyone's having a wonderful day, wonderful week for that matter. So I'm out here with the mules. I just got them off of pasture, got them came in. I got them all tied. Here in the barn, we're gonna get them some grain right quick, get them started eating. And I've got little man over here. He's just hanging out. Y'all, he's a hoot. If you've never been around miniature horses or mules, they're a lot of fun. But anyway, it's cold. We're still having cold weather here in Tennessee. It's been pretty cool this week. I've actually had to work longer hours at my regular job, so it's kind of held me up from doing my logging like I really want to. But we do need to do something today that's a little different, but it needs to be done. I've got to tear down my 066 Annie that I smashed in the woods the other day. So I'm gonna take y'all in with me here in a minute. We're gonna start tearing her down and find out what the real damage is and if we can repair her. All right, y'all, we're just gonna dive right into this thing. I mean, as you can see, the old girl has took a pretty good beating. So what I'm gonna do first is we gotta get into the saw. You know, main thing we wanna know is the case still good? I mean, obviously the gas tank handle and all that mess is gonna be bad because it's busted right here. You know, this whole panel's busted up. The top panel's busted up. The starter cable panel's busted up. So pretty much all the plastic is going to have to be replaced. That's a no-brainer. So let's just start tearing into it. And I think what we'll do is we'll start with the handle first. Let's see here. These saws are pretty doggone simple to work on, and that's one reason I hadn't, you know, upgraded. They're pretty simple, easy to maintain. They're easy to rebuild. And my thinking is, or at least it always has been, you know, I can pick up one of these old 066s. A lot of times you can find them used for anywhere from $600 to $800. And most of the time, you know, that's one that's in pretty good shape, that's, you know, running and everything. That ain't, you know, tore all to pieces. And I can take it and port it, you know, and do a bunch of port work to it and make it a really nice saw. Versus buying a new one's about $1,600. So, you know, even if it needs a complete rebuild, most of the time I can rebuild one for, most of the time I'll have no more than $800 in the whole saw, you know. And that's a new bottom end, new top end, new bearings, new seals, piston, cylinder, kit, I mean the whole 9 yards. You know, so for $800 I got a brand new saw. And you can't hardly, you know, these old saws, you can't beat them anymore. So we know we're gonna have to have a handle. It's bent all to pieces. So we know we got to have a new one of those. So let me get this thing off. We'll just go ahead and put it in a junk pile over here. Because we know we got to have one of those. So we'll just start digging into these covers. Let's see, let's get the top cover off first. And then we'll just sort of go from there. I'm pretty sure that it just, you know, busted the piston and cylinder. I'm pretty sure that part of it is bad for sure. The coil's bad because it, you know, there's spark plug wire, so the coil's gonna be bad. I'm gonna have a new coil, which that ain't a make or break deal there. Let's get this carburetor. I'll turn this around maybe where y'all can see most of it. Like I say, I mean, these old saws are pretty simple. They're simple enough I can work on them, so I've been working on them a long time. And to be honest with you, I kind of enjoy working on them. I like porting. Once I learned how to do it and do it right, you know, I ported a few saws in the beginning and I didn't do it right. It worked out okay, but I tell you, when you really hit the numbers right and you get a ported saw that has been made right, y'all, you can't hardly beat them. And you definitely don't want to go back to a regular saw after you run a ported one. Okay, so there's the carburetor and all that good stuff. We'll take it easy on that for now. Let's see. Let me get this spark plug out. We'll go ahead and get the top panel off. We'll be able to see most of the damage when we get this top cover off, because that's, you know, that's where the tree hit. And I mean, it was a full tree. This saw took a pretty good lick. I felt terrible afterward, but you know, I was trying to stay safe and make sure that tree that had set back on me didn't come over on me, you know, so I wasn't paying attention to where I put my saw. That was a mistake. I will from now on, though. Alright, so there's the spark plug. Because this is going to wind up being at least an $800 mistake, and it may even be a little more than that. And I mean, $800 mistake, that's at least one full day of logging, maybe two. And that's gross money. That ain't even, you know, what I cleared. Alright, so there's the top piece. We're going to put this over here in the junk pile, because it ain't no good. The piston, the cylinder assembly actually looks better than I thought it would. It basically just broke the fins off over here, which ain't terrible. It broke the fins off on this side. It could be a lot worse for sure. So I'm gonna just keep the pieces right over there. Hopefully y'all can see everything I'm doing. I know it ain't the best of camera angles, and the lighting in here ain't as good either. I am gonna get me one of them what do you call it, like a media light that goes on the camera where y'all sitting at, and I believe that's gonna help videos like this. It'll help make those videos better to where y'all can see a lot better. And like the t-shirts and hats, that's something I was gonna tell y'all, by the way. You know, I told you I'd tell you the truth, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. The money that we're making off these hats and jackets and whatnot, y'all, I'm putting that right back into this channel. I'm planning on buying a drone where we can get aerial footage. I thought that'd be super cool. And I'm gonna get some more cameras, you know, GoPro cameras and whatnot, so we can get better camera angles and all that good mess. So, you know, those of you that are buying hats and jackets, hey, look, I appreciate it, and the channel appreciates it. We're gonna try to push everything, you know, forward with it. Get that chain brake up there. I'm pretty sure I broke it, but I might not have. And if I didn't, if I can save that chain brake, that'd be nice. Everything that we can save, we're going to. But like I said, most of this plastic stuff's gonna have to be changed. This saw here has been just a magnificent saw. It hasn't ever caused much trouble. It just cuts, and that's what it boils down to. It's a good work saw. If you want a good work saw, it's a really good work saw. All right, and see, like the spool piece inside is still good. I'll put this in my junk pile and keep it for a rainy day, because you know I might need like a pull cord, you know, or something like that, and I'll have it. I'll go ahead and replace it, you know, and everything. But at the same time, I'll come back and the stuff I can use that's still usable, I will make it work. And the chain brake don't look too awful bad. I don't know. I can't tell for sure. Alright, that's on. That's off. It looks like it's okay. I won't really know till I get in there when I get all this mess off. And y'all, I'm not gonna take y'all through every little old piece of this thing tonight. I just wanted to kind of, you know, get a rough estimate of what we're looking at. You know, kind of get everything started, tearing everything apart, and just kind of get a rough idea. I wanted to bring y'all on for that, because I mean, there's a lot to this stuff. It ain't terrible, but most of this stuff you can buy like in pieces. You know, you can buy like the gas tank trigger assembly. You know, you can buy this part, you can buy the top cover, you can buy the side cover. There's a lot of stuff you can buy, you know, for these saws. They still make a lot of the parts for them, which is good. But I'm not going to take y'all through the whole process of it, because I know y'all got better things to do besides hang out with me and do this. So I'm just going to kind of hit the highlights here and take y'all through with me on just a little bit of it. I'm going to go ahead and get the carburetor off and get this little rubber piece out. It's kind of hard to do whenever you got busted pieces. It's hard to get everything to come out like it's supposed to. Saw's been sitting out on the porch too. It's cold and everything's still cold. I should have brought it inside and let it sit inside today, and it would have been warmed up time I got here. All right, let's see where we're at here. I believe we can pull the carburetor off now. So there's the carburetor. It'd probably be okay. Since I'm going to rebuild it, I'll probably rebuild the carburetor too. Have it ready to go. Ain't no point in rebuilding the saw without rebuilding the carburetor, right? So now I'm just taking these little intake pieces out right here to where I can get this this panel right here off. That's what I'm doing now. It don't normally come off this easy. It's because everything's busted. That's why it's coming right off. Let me go ahead and get the coil pack off, because it's got to be changed. It's bad. Well, it may not be bad, but the wire going to it, the spark plug wire going to it is broken. So either way, it's going to need some attention. I believe I can fix it. I don't think it busted the case, and that's a good thing. And really, if it busted the case, I could still rebuild it. You know, it's just one of them deals. You know, you can get case halves. I got a buddy of mine in Kentucky. He's got a lot of part saws, and I could probably call him up and get a piece of a case, whatever I needed. I'll finish tearing this thing down off camera and get everything cleaned up. That's when I'll know for sure, but I think it's going to be okay based off of what I see. I think it's just broke all the plastic, best I can tell. By the way, my wife's going to kill me for being in here on the kitchen table like this. She's absolutely going to kill me. But I don't have a shot right now, and I got to have somewhere to work, so this is about the best I can do for right now. Let's see here. All right. Here's the most of it. All right, so there's that piece. That's your, carburetor mounts where your carburetor goes. Of course, that's the coil pack. I'm just going to kind of keep all this in a pile over here, in a junk pile. We'll get it all tore down. I believe we're about there. It was getting time for Annie for a rebuild anyway. She still had pretty good compression. But I could tell she was starting to get just a little tired. And plus I kind of had plans of doing some port work to it. So I didn't really want to do it right now. But it'll work out. Everything will work out. Alrighty. Now I'm down to the cylinder, and I think I'll be able to see as far as I can tell, I don't believe it has damaged the case. I don't think. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and start trying to pull this fuel tank handle off. We'll get it out of our way where we can see. That'll be real good. That'll tell us a lot too. And really, I mean, if it weren't for just making such a big mess, it wouldn't take me very long to get this thing tore completely apart. That's why I like working on these old saws so much, because they're really easy. Okay. Now, let's see if I can get this one out. I'd like to get this fuel tank handle, this grip assembly, I'd like to get it completely off tonight, and then that way we'll get a pretty good look at everything. I don't think I'll pull the cylinder off right now. I mainly just want to kind of get tore into it where I can see the big stuff. And these are rubber shock mounts here, and this is where your fuel tank bolts up to. Once you get it out of the way, you can kind of see the bottom of the case. I'll clean it up a little bit where we can kind of see it, and then we can take a little bit closer look at it. All right, let me see. Now I'm trying to remember, it's been a little bit since I've done one. I think that's all there is to it. Yeah, there it comes. Take this one loose right here. And this is stuff I have to do in my free time, y'all. I mean, really, Yeah, I kind of get paid to do it. You know, it pays me as a company to do it this way. If you can do your own work like this, you know, see, like here's my gas tank grip assembly. You know, it'll come with new bushings and everything. I mean, pretty much everything you need. But see, it's busted down here on the bottom. It's busted right here. I mean, it's pretty jacked up. Trigger is broke. I'll keep the gas cap. We'll salvage that because we may need it later. So we've got that part done. Let's see. Flywheel turns free. That's good. I don't hear anything out of normal. That's a good sign. Okay. Now we need to get these out if we can. These studs, they're kind of aggravating. I like to put them in a vise. Once you get them out, you can put them in a vise and I'm gonna run this thing down just a little bit more. You can chuck them up in the vise and break these jam nuts loose, because you got to run both your bar nuts down on this thing to get it to where you can get it off. Jam them up against each other. And that ought to work where we can get it off, maybe. There we go. Yeah. See, it come right out now. The old girl will get a rebuild top to bottom. You can do it this way, like I'm about to do. It's easier if you chuck it up in a vise, though. You see, you can do it just like that. It ain't terrible doing it this way. It ain't as easy as doing it with a vise, though. You can get some vise grips like I'm going to use here. And this will show us the chain brake, the tensioner, the oiler. There'll be several things we'll get to see right here in this little area. We can get the clutch off, and it'll show us the side of the case. That'll give a good indication of how our case looks. And if I got a piece that's cracked, you know, I may, after I assess all the damage and see what I got to have, you know, for new parts, I'll probably just order the parts and replace everything. And if I got a case half that's broke, I'll just get a new half. That stud looks like it's warped some kind of which way. So we'll probably need new bar studs. See, I just clamp it in there like that, right here on this round piece. And that way you ain't messing nothing up, you can just get it right off. I actually think I have some of those studs, so them won't be a whole big deal. And all this, I'll wash all this with part cleaner and get it all cleaned up. Main thing, I just want to get tore into it where we can see what's up. I'm gonna pull my key off the snap ring off the sprocket here. All right, there's that and that. Let's see here. I have to pull these panels off to be able to get the clutch drum off. Normally it'll come right off, but since everything's kind of gooped up a little, it may need to get these other parts off first. And back here behind these panels, y'all, where this clutch is, that's where your through bolts are that hold your case halves together. Because this case is actually two halves. And when you put new bearings and seals in it, all that good mess, you have to split the half. Go in there and put a new case seal in it and shaft seals on each side. Wish I would have cleaned it up some before I started doing all this. Every time I get ready to rebuild a saw, I always say, hey, clean that thing up before you bring it inside. I never do it. It always winds up like this. One of these days I'm going to have me a shop where I can get out there and work on it in the shop. Not have to be doing it this way. Let's see, can I get this thing to come up? There we go. Now you can see a little bit more of what's going on. I mean, it's dirty. It's real dirty. You can't tell a whole lot, but got all this old mud and sawdust. And ain't no telling how long it's been in here. I probably should have done tore this thing down and cleaned it. But like everything else, I just kind of work on it when it needs it. Alright, let me see, can I get this thing to come out? I can't get a good hold on it, so just gonna get a light grip with these vice grips. There we go. I'm gonna kind of keep all my parts sort of together. There's a clutch bearing. Most all this stuff will get replaced. Most of it will. And the clutch needs to come off too. I'm gonna probably go ahead and take my chain brake and get it out of the way. I think that'd be a good idea. Now y'all, if you ain't took one of these apart a lot, you know, when you ain't sure about things, it's best to take a picture of it. And then that way you don't, you know, there's no question about how it goes back, because it can get to be sort of confusing. And there's a lot of little parts, like this little old snap ring here. This little old snap ring, stuff like that can be really aggravating. Come on, girl. I know you want to. There we go. There we go. Man, I think that chain brake's still good. Luckily, we got lucky on that. So, I have got, I'll show y'all how to take that clutch off right quick. I believe I've still got it here in my bag. What I do is I shove a rope down in the yeah, here it is. I shove a rope down in the piston, in the cylinder, just like so. Let me make sure, I want to go down to the bottom. Alright. That'll work right there. I pulled it up just enough to get it by the exhaust ports. And then what I do, y'all, is I just feed a rope in here like this right here. I just keep stuffing it in there until it gets pretty packed. And what that'll do is whenever you turn the clutch, when you turn the clutch, it'll bind and back the clutch off. That's what I do. Alright, that ought to be good. And these clutches are reverse threads. They're left-handed threads and not right-handed, so it's not, you know, lefty-loosey. It's, you gotta go the other way with it. Might have to get an impact wrench to get it off. Alright, y'all, I've got my impact wrench now. So maybe this will make it a little bit easier. Alright, so you want to make sure that you're going to the right. Because again, it's left-handed threads. So alright, there we go. That impact is all it needed, just a little bump. Should come right off. Alright, so we'll put that clutch there. It still looks good. I had a problem with Big John. When I rebuilt him, I used an Oregon clutch instead of a Stihl. And a couple of these springs right here broke. And it caused me some trouble with Big John. So, the moral to the story is when you can go back with OEM parts, you know, that's what you want to do if you can help it. I want to get some of this stuff out of y'all's way where you can see. Come on now. There we go. Alright. And right here is your oiler, your worm gear. It turns your oil pump, which is right here. And it pumps oil out of your oil tank up out this little crevice right here. And that's what oils your chain on your bar. I am going to upgrade this oiler to a high output oiler. The Stihl oilers, the normal ones, are not very good oilers. They're good oilers, they're dependable, but they just, in my opinion, they don't put out enough oil. So, let's see. All right. Everything looks okay so far. This part right here is broke out. So I may have to wind up getting another half. I don't know for sure yet. I'm gonna go ahead and try to pull the flywheel off while we're here. Then we'll be able to see the case all the way around. It'll just give us a much better view of how everything looks. I'll get that string out eventually. I ain't really worried about it one way or the other. We know it ain't froze up, so that's a good thing. Alright, so let me just stick that right there. Now I've got a puller that you can put on this, and it'll just pop that flywheel right off, and that's what I'll do. I'll do that a little bit later, I think. For now, I just want to get tore into this thing. Let's get the muffler cover off and get the muffler off. That's going to show us an awful lot. We'll be able to see a good bit. Put it in a parts cleaner and clean it up real good. That'll make a world of difference. Be able to see what I'm doing, you know. But yeah, I was telling y'all earlier about like the cameras and drones and stuff like that. That's all ideas I got. You know, I would like to be able to get some aerial footage with the drone. I thought that would be mighty cool, especially, you know, when the mules are in the woods working. Be able to get some overhead footage, maybe some of the log truck too. And you know, the money that we make here off the YouTube, and the only money that I make really, y'all, is either from the jackets and t-shirts and hats and stuff, or from AdSense. You know, from ads on YouTube. I'm not, you know, I don't have any kind of memberships or anything like that, so the support that we get comes strictly from, you know, AdSense and what y'all do with the jackets and stuff, which is great, and I really appreciate y'all doing that. It's helped us a lot. Let's see. That's a West Coast Saw bark box muffler cover. I like them pretty good. I ain't gonna say it's the absolute best muffler exhaust that there is for a saw, but it ain't bad, to put it that way. Alright, so inside the muffler cover, or inside the muffler, that was just a cover that we got off. There's two more bolts that secures the muffler to the cylinder. We'll get them out, and then the whole muffler will come off. We should be in good shape. And I'll get my flywheel puller here in just a minute, and I'll pull that flywheel off. I mean, I've done brought y'all along this far, so Might as well bring you along a little further, eh? Got one more bolt here. Alright, so there's the muffler. I'm going to try to kind of keep all this stuff together too. All these bolts and stuff, kind of keep them halfway separate. I like to put all my stuff in bags. You know, once I get it off, I like kind of putting it in bags. That's always seemed to help me keep stuff separated. I'm gonna just get some of this mess out of the way. You got 4 bolts that bolt the cylinder down to the crankcase. We get them out and the whole cylinder will come off. I ain't worried about getting dirt or nothing in it because I'm going to clean it all out anyway. She's going to get a full rebuild if we push through with this thing. If I do decide to go all the way with it, we're going to do a full rebuild on it and be done with it. Let's see here. I think my rope has got me hung up. This piston cylinder ought to just slide right off of it. The reason it's not is because of this rope I got jammed down in here. It's hanging on that rope. Let's see. I don't have my hammer handy, so we'll just take and tap it back down to that. Y'all give me just a minute and let me get this thing out of here, and then we'll press on. Alright, now we got the string out. It took a little doing, but I got it. Put that back in my bag there. That's actually my axe I keep in my chainsaw bag. I use it for banging wedges. Alright, now this thing ought to come on out. This might have a little old piece still hung in it. But it ought to come on out. Yeah. There it comes. There we go. There. Okay, so there's the cylinder. I mean, as you can see, it's, you know, it's tore up. It is what it is. And the piston. I mean, considering, you know, what we're dealing with, the piston don't look too awful bad. Alright, I'm gonna go get my flywheel puller and we'll pull this flywheel off, and then that'll have us down to where we can inspect it. Alright, I've got my puller here. Let's see, let me get this thing backed off. And you can buy these, you can get them online. A lot of these saw shops carry them. It's a pretty neat little deal. I may have to have another wrench. I'm hoping I can hold it with these pliers. I may have to have some help, so this might be a part that I have to skip until I can. There we go. Now, flywheel's off. Alright, got a little bit of oil leaking out, but that's alright. Okay. So now I'm just going to kind of, this side over here on the flywheel side seemed like it took the majority of the lick. So I'm gonna kind of just clean it up a little bit, look at it. Probably the most here. Now y'all, I gotta get back outside and untie the mules, let them, you know, go. I gotta bust up water troughs and all that good mess, so I'm gonna have to run. But I didn't want to leave you on hold with this saw. I'm thinking it's probably going to be too expensive to rebuild it. I am going to do some checking just to be sure, but time I replace all these broke parts on it that's broke, I could probably buy a new saw, to be honest with you. And I hate that, you know, I really do. I would like to save this old 066 and put it back in service, but it's probably going to take a lot more money than what the saw will be worth. If I decide for sure one way or the other, as for now, I'm probably just going to look into getting another saw, to be honest with you. But if I do decide to rebuild it at a later date, I'll let y'all know. I've got it all boxed up, all the parts and everything. So if I decide to revisit that, I'll let y'all know and I'll bring you along with me and just kind of let you see what's going on. But I did want to show you this part of the whole operation, you know, tearing these saws down, looking at them, assessing the damage. You know, stuff like this happens. It ain't the first time that I've had a little accident with a saw, and I'm sure it won't be the last. However, you know, we need to be more careful because it's, you know, $800 to $1,000 mistake. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Now, nobody got hurt. The mules are good. I'm good. So I'm thankful for that. Look, thank y'all for hanging out with me, going through this saw and whatnot. I appreciate it. And as always, I'm going to put my email up here on the screen. Any of you that need me, feel free to holler at me. Be glad to talk to you. And as always, I'm going to be praying for you. I know y'all need the prayers, and I definitely need to practice. So I'm glad to do it. Y'all take care, and I'll see you next time.